If you connect a three-phase industrial motor directly to the AC grid, you surrender all control to the raw physics of the power supply. The motor draws massive inrush currents, up to 6 times its rated limit to break inertia. Mechanical linkages suffer extreme torque shocks, and the internal windings remain entirely vulnerable to unpredictable grid voltage spikes. The variable frequency drive, or VFD, serves as the primary intervention. This device functions as a high-speed synthetic power generator. It actively calculates the physical state of the motor in real time, constructing a precise electrical environment to match the exact load requirements. To understand how it achieves this, we have to look inside the drive. We will trace the internal power topology, map the physical failsafe wiring, and decode the parameter algorithms that control the machine. Treating this complex logic hub as a simple on and off switch is the root cause of most industrial electrical failures. The core function of a VFD requires breaking down the grid power completely. It never converts AC directly to a different AC frequency. The power must go through a strict 3-stage transformation. First, the 3-phase AC enters the rectifier. A diode bridge strips the current into pulsating DC arcs. Because pulsating DC destroys downstream electronics, it passes into the DC bus. Massive capacitors act as shock absorbers, flattening the ripple into a stable DC supply. This reservoir of stable direct current is highly energetic, holding between 600 and 700 volts. Finally, power reaches the inverter section. Insulated gate bipolar transistors, or IGBTs, act as hyper-fast valves, chopping this DC voltage into variable width blocks to simulate a new AC waveform. These transistors fire thousands of times per second. This rapid on and off sequence is called pulse width modulation, and it dictates the exact speed and torque delivered to the motor. By dismantling the grid power and rebuilding it from scratch, the VFD functions as an absolute electrical firewall, completely isolating the machine from the instability of the main supply. But a VFD cannot survive if wired directly to the raw grid on one side and the bare motor on the other. It requires external hardware protections. When the VFD first powers up, those large DC bus capacitors act like empty sponges, drawing a massive inrush current to charge. A standard circuit breaker sized exactly to the drive's normal running current will instantly trip during this initial surge. To prevent this nuisance tripping, the input molded case circuit breaker, or MCCB, must be rated 1.25 to 1.5 times the drive's operating current. Next, an input line reactor is installed. This inductive coil serves a dual purpose. It absorbs incoming high-voltage transients from the grid, and it prevents the drive's internal switching harmonics from polluting the factory's electrical system. Output cables over 100 meters carry physical risks. Parallel wires and the ground shield form a capacitor, storing electrical charge. Fast pulse width modulation rise times interact with this capacitance, amplifying pulses into severe spikes that physically bore through the motor's winding insulation. Installing an output reactor softens the steep edges of these high-frequency pulses, slowing down the voltage rise time and preserving the motor's lifespan. Then there is the threat of mechanical regeneration. When a heavy load, like a descending crane, pushes the motor, gravity turns it into a generator. Electricity flows backward into the VFD, causing the internal DC bus to rapidly spike toward a critical 800 volts. To prevent the internal capacitors from rupturing, a built-in brake chopper activates. It redirects this regenerative energy outward into a heavy-duty brake resistor, where the excess power is safely burned off this heat. These external components are not optional accessories. They form the necessary physical buffers to manage the raw momentum of the machine and the high-frequency stresses of the drive. With the power topology secured, we shift to the drive's low-voltage control wiring. Industrial engineers frequently debate the best way to transmit the analog speed reference signal to the drive, using a 0 to 10 volt signal or a 4 to 20 milliamp current loop. The voltage method has a critical flaw over long distances. Cable resistance causes a voltage drop. A controller might send 10 volts, demanding full speed, but the drive only receives 8 volts, running the motor at an incorrect speed. The 4 to 20 milliamp loop solves this, largely due to a design concept called the live zero. Here, the baseline command for 0 RPM is 4 milliamps. This creates an automatic failsafe. If the control wire is severed, the current drops to 0. The drive recognizes it has lost its baseline, flags a wire break fault, and immediately stops the motor. If that same wire broke in a 0 to 10 volt system, the voltage drops to 0 or energized while waiting for the next command, a highly dangerous state for a broken machine. This physical failsafe logic extends to the drive's most critical hardware protection, the Safe Torque Off, or STO terminal. The STO circuit must always be wired using a normally closed contact. In a normally closed setup, continuous current proves the circuit is intact. If an emergency stop is pressed, or if the wire is accidentally cut, the circuit opens. This physically blocks the firing pulses from reaching the IGBTs, instantly cutting torque to the motor. If wired with a normally open contact, a severed wire leaves the circuit broken in the background. No one knows the damage exists until an emergency happens, the button is pressed, and the signal fails to reach the drive. Robust automation design assumes that components will break. By leveraging physical laws like the live zero and normally closed circuits, we guarantee that when a failure occurs, the system defaults entirely to a safe state. With the physical wiring confirmed, we finally activate the parameter setup. A VFD cannot control what it does not understand. Before operation, it must map the motor's exact electrical characteristics using an identification run, or auto-tuning sequence. The drive injects test currents to measure microscopic imperfections, mapping the stator resistance and leakage inductance, the magnetic flux escaping into the air gap. Advanced models use this data for direct torque control, calculating the magnetic state every millisecond to react instantly. We enforce the drive's control using parameter limits. For large industrial pumps, we extend the acceleration time to deliberately build pressure slowly, preventing tons of water from slamming into pipe joints and causing a destructive water hammer. We can ease and modify the electrical pulses to solve mechanical problems. By adjusting the drive's switching frequency, we can break mechanical resonance, instantly stopping a motor from vibrating against its own mounting frame. The software parameters within the drive act as a digital twin of the physical machine, allowing the VFD to manipulate massive mechanical forces safely. In its fully commissioned state, the VFD constantly analyzes motor current, internal magnetic flux, and thermal buildup at microsecond resolution. This density of data raises an inevitable question. Will this micro-level electrical analysis eventually replace the need for external mechanical sensors altogether? We are already seeing modern drives analyze their own output current waveforms to detect tiny mechanical drag forces. They can identify the specific electrical signature of a degrading motor bearing weeks before the physical breakdown occurs. This constant micro-level analysis transforms the VFD into the most powerful predictive maintenance tool on the industrial floor.